Hi, I'm live, and I was excited because I had good news. And it's like one of those one step forward, two step back type of thing. Hey, Tennessee. Uh, so I got hit hard today. Well, first, something good happened. As you guys have been following my channel now, a while back, the I lost my job because it kind of downsized a bit, and things changed. So today I got hired back to my position. I start on September 23rd in a new position actually. So I'm very excited about that, especially because, and I'll be bluntly honest with you, financially things have been not the greatest. So that was a win. That was like a win, like in the win category, starting work again, getting stuff done. Hey, Livins. Uh, that sucks, dude. I know. My dad actually was in the house recently. Hey, Jesse. It was a very scary time, and it took its toll on us. It did take its toll on us. So my better half has gone away to basically on a work trip, and and I just got a call. Let's go from her, and our car broke down. Seriously broke down. 4 hours from where she needs to be. And I have no idea what to do because all the money for the next 2 weeks have gone into a work trip. But hey, things happen. Anyway, welcome. Today's video, sorry I'm a little out of it, but I wanted to go ahead with it because I went on Instagram, went on Twitter. Today's video is 31 alternate days of horror. And what that basically means is that I've picked 31 films, not films that I'm going to do for this holiday, for this horror, but could be possible ideas that you might want to do within your 31 days of horror. Thanks. I am 110% seriously thinking of going Patreon after this. I'm not going to lie. And yeah. People keep telling me if I do that, it's going to hurt my credibility. And at this point, I'm not caring too much. All right, so 31 days alternative days of horror. That's basically what I wanted to do. Because right now I'm trying to think of what I'm going to be watching for 31 days in October. What I'm going to be coming on here and talking about with you guys. Films I'm going to be doing, and I know I'm going to be doing like a few Severin films. I got some Kino stuff that I have earmarked for that. So what I wanted to do was challenge myself to find 31 films that I'm not going to use, and maybe, but I wanted to pick some different stuff. I didn't want to have I didn't want to put Halloween in there. I didn't want to put Friday the 13th there. I didn't want to put any of the major franchises in there. I wanted 31 days of actual alternate titles. So there's no like Deep Red, there's no Suspiria, but there are titles in those genres. There'll be slasher titles in there. There'll be horror titles in there. There'll be some horror comedy titles. There'll be stuff from across the board, from every from every company that I can really think of right now. And I get my phone turned up. I can't look at my phone today to see your messages because I have to keep it out here because my better half is now waiting for her friend to come and pick her up, who she has a great friend that's going to drive 4 hours to go and pick her up and wait for her with the tow truck. So there we go. On the good side, September the 23rd, I start. So hopefully things will get a bit better then. Anyway, let's do this. Everybody be too depressed to stay watch my video. If you leave me for that reason, shame on you. All right, so first up is for the 31 Days of Alternative Horror. And hopefully you'll get some here that you can put on your list through this. I picked an 80 films release, and that is the, it's 80 films of a Fred Olen Ray release. Hey, Kathy. And that is the Sorority Babes in the Slimeball Bolorama. Otherwise, alternately titled The Imp. It's actually a way more fun movie than you'd imagine. It is kind of a horror comedy. It's got some of the 90s Scream Queens and the 80s Screams in there. We got like Linnea Quigley, Brink Stevens is in here as well. It's just like a really cool one. Michelle Bauer. And of course, directed by Dave Dakota, who did so many films with Linnea Quigley. They work together so well. It's a fun little film. The effects are kind of low budget, but they're fun and they work. The cast works really well together. This actually is a really good release of this film. It includes a kind of a feature-length behind-the-scenes making of the film on here as well, and a ton of different bonus features. It even has like some alternate artwork, which will I think it is. Yep, which is The Imp. So if you don't have this title, it is definitely one worth picking up. And I'll be honest. When I originally heard of this film back in the day, I was not. Let's just say I didn't think it was going to be much. There's going to be much to look forward to within this within the film. All right, there we go. But number one, Sorority Babes in the Slimeball Bolorama. Also put up by Full Moon, right, Jesse? Number two is a Monde Macabre release, and this is and looks to be an all regions release. I think. Yep, it is an all regions release. And I did want to get something from the good fellows at Monde Macabre in here, and I wanted to pick something different. So I chose The Fan, which is definitely a darker, slow burn release. It's a German film. It is really extremely well done, well acted. Even though it is a slower, more leisurely paced film, it is well done and well paced actually. Basically, it is the story of a girl that is a fan of this singer, of this rock star, and it plays out in a very unique way as she goes on a journey to actually meet her her idol, and sometimes meeting your idol can work out, and other times it can go in a very different, very darker direction. Lady Terminator was almost on this list, actually, to be totally honest with you, because I really do like that film. It's a super cheesy, fun film. The Fan. Next up is another 88 Films one, but this is on their Slasher Classics collection. And this is one that I did want to have on here. I mentioned the sequel to this recently, and I think it's about time that people got back and they actually watched the original once more. And it's a good choice for the 31 Days of Horror. And that is The Boogeyman by Uli Lommel. This, of course, is not the 2000s Boogeyman, which I'm not a big fan of. But this one here is super cheesy, super fun. If you've never seen it, I definitely recommend it. There is some really unique, unusual, strange kills in this film, including one dealing with a car, and there's a sequence. I'm doing 31 films. Basically, that's what I'm doing. 31 films, 31 days. These are not my 31 day, days of horror this for this year, but this is an alternate with giving you a list of some different ones you can choose rather than just choosing some of the regular stuff that gets chosen all the time. Rather than, hey, let's watch all the Halloween movies again. Let's watch all the Friday 13th again. Hey, let's do all the nightmares. This is some different choices to choose from. And I decided to go with 31 since it's 31 days. And hopefully out of these 31 days, you'll get at least a couple that'll strike your fancy and that you want to do, just to mix it up, to do something different. But The Boogeyman, I recommend it. It's a fun little film. It is cheesy. It is not the best acted film in the world. Its storyline at times just is a little bit baffling, but it's a lot of fun. Oh, I love that sequence. The kiss of destiny. That's the car sequence I'm talking about. Love that scene. You got to see it to believe. Boogeyman's one of those movies, guys, that you have to see to believe. But it's one of those that you'll tell your friends about after. If you've never seen it and you're going and watching it for the first time, there's going to be sequences in this film that you're going to watch, and you're going to be kind of like WTF moments, where you're going to legitimately be talking to a friend the next day, and you will tell them about scenes that you watched in this film. So if nothing else, though, that's a great thing. You're gonna get other people. You're gonna convert other people to the film. Hey, Mug. This is one of the covers. Actually, there is the other cover, the one that I normally use on here, is this one right here. This is the original cover, and this is what most people are used to when they see the Boogeyman. And why don't I have it turned around? Let's switch that around, actually, because that's a way better cover, isn't it? Because that priest cover just doesn't that ain't my bag, because, you know. Why did I keep that on there? Well, does it still have Slasher Classics? That's why. Because it doesn't have the Slasher Classic banner, but at this point, all bets are off. So I'm just going to show the alternate cover so you guys can see that. Thanks for mentioning that, by the way. And there it is, the alternate original artwork for the Boogeyman. So anybody that's ever seen this movie probably has seen it in VHS with this cover right here. I chose one more kind of weird, unique film for the 31 Days of Alternate Horror. And this is just one that I personally really love. And it is, hey, 13 Wolfman, and it is the Boogeyman Collection. I could see them doing that. And that is this one right here. Nail Gun Massacre. Cheaper than a chainsaw in so many ways. Oh, did you really? So that's probably why they put that there then. Here in North America, the other artwork is what we have. So Nail Gun Massacre is a classic, fun regional horror film. I think was shot in it's Texas, right? Somewhere like that. Yeah, this was basically set in Texas. It's a fun little film. It tries really hard to have the killer become kind of Freddy Krueger-esque. It doesn't really. Did you hear that? No, you didn't, did you? Doesn't really work. Hold on one second. I thought I heard something. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Oh, that was weird. Like a scene from one of these horror films. Okay. I have no idea what that was, but it sounded like something outside my door, so I had to go check. Neil Massacre. Definitely check it out. How much has this movie meant to me? Well, there was a time when I had kind of a video podcast. What do you call it? A vlogcast? That type of thing, right? On here, on my channel. Jesse, honestly, at this point, dude, I don't know if I care. Just saying. But this I had a podcast that was based on this a video podcast that was based on. Basically, you took something from this movie. I think the Buck 19 special is what I called it, from a line from the film. Okay, I wanted to put. I do have that over there. I do want to put on one franchise to put on for one day. Oh, you got to watch it again. It's such a fun film. I make everybody that comes to my house watch Neil Massacre. I'm not even joking. Things in Neil Massacre you got to see when you come visit me. But I wanted to do a franchise, but I want to do a different franchise. I wanted to do something that that people don't really normally think of a lot when it comes to Halloween, and I think they should, because it's fun and it's quirky and it's eclectic. And that is, does the Neil Massacre have alternate artwork? That it does. Hopefully you can see there. They all have, most of the 80 films, except for some of the earlier ones, will always have alternate artwork. Is the Slumber Party Massacre collection. So this one is apparently out of print. I had no idea, but I guess it is. But I think the Blu-rays, or at least some of the Blu-rays, are still available. One of the Blu-rays is out of print too. I don't get that, but okay. But Slumber Party Massacre collection. If you got this, it's a fantastic set. All three films are on here. The first, they're all directed by females, and I know at least the first one is written by female as well. The first one is pretty much like kind of a Halloween kind of knockoff. Yeah. Slumber Party Massacre 2's villain is like the best. He sings and dances. And there he is right there, by the way. And he has a drill guitar. As far as I know, this is totally uncut, dude. I have the Blu-rays of these as well. And nope, they're not. Nope, I don't think they're cut. I have seen every version of this film that's possibly out there, so unless I'm missing something, no. This one is, I think, totally uncut, and it does have like a 90-minute documentary on three of these films as well. The second film has kind of the, oh really? Like the really cheesy fun film on there. The third film, a lot of people hate on, but it's more of like goes back to like kind of like the mystery roots, I guess. Like the first one, you knew the killer was right away. The second one, you know the killer is because he's this like kind of dream, like kind of undead type person. And the third one is kind of a mystery where you have to guess who the killer is, and it's not too hard of a guess. But they throw some really, really out there, quirky little people into the mix that you wouldn't normally associate with those films. All right, I wanted to do an anthology film, and I wanted to choose like a really fun one. Hey Logan, we are doing the 31-day alternate days of horror. These are 31 films that I'm not personally doing this year for my October like horror fest, but they are 31 really kind of fun films to do, and to challenge people to go outside the box, to go outside the norm, and not pick the usuals over and over again. Second one has Christopher Bernard, actually. That's the one you're thinking. The second one is Christopher Bernard. The third one has pretty much nobody that you're gonna know, to be totally honest with you. But like it's a no name. The second one's a no name. Is a second one is a pretty big cast actually, but the third one's a pretty much a no name cast. Anthology wise, The House That Dripped Blood. Now, it's a really cool Amicus anthology. It has some of the better stories in it. It's probably the weakest wraparound of any of the Amicus anthologies that are out there. But that being said, it's probably has some of the stronger stories of any Amicus anthologies. It does tend to get looked over a lot, and it's really a shame because this is a really fun one. I think there's an edition put out. Oh, is it by Second Sight or Eureka or something like that? But it's something. I'm not sure if it was this one or Asylum. Put it one of them anyway. On like this really sexy looking edition. Maybe it's both of them. But The House That Dripped Blood, if you've never seen it, says like Doctor Number 3, John Pertwee, and a very memorable sequence in the film. Probably one of the most memorable when people look at this one. It's got a great cast here. We got Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing, Denholm Elliott, John Pertwee. We have like Ingrid Pitt in this one here as well, and she is gorgeous. No blood either. Yeah, it's a pretty much a blood. A lot of, if you watch a lot of the Hammer horror, sorry, the Amicus horror, you're going to realize that the whole bloodletting portion of it is, hey Brian, is going to be very, very lessened. And there's a reason for that actually. Amicus made a specifically, like concentrated effort to make their films more watchable for at least like the whole family, or at least the teenagers in the family. One, it was good marketing wise, and two, it made them stand out when Hammer started to get a lot more exploitative in their films. Of course, you could see there may be a little exploitative there, but she's dressed. So Ingrid Pitt, looking amazing as always. It's not a vampire film, though. Remember that. It's just one vampire sequence. And the way that they do it is that there wouldn't be any reason to have any blood in that sequence. It's very comedically done and extremely well done. I do recommend you guys check it out. And I'm not even joking. I seriously do recommend you check that out, especially that sequence. And next, I'm going to show you a film that is a real challenge. Why is it a real challenge? Well, it's because it's not a good film. Hey, Lewis. My day started fantastic when I just got hired. The position that I was in before got tapered down a bit, and I got let go a while back, and I got called in today, and I'm going back to that position. Then my better half was driving. The car broke down at a time when we have absolutely zero money to pay for fixing the car. So it's been a mixed bag. I'm a wee bit depressed. I gotta say, I'm a wee bit depressed, but thank you. Slumber Party Night. I just saw the comment from Vinny. That's an awesome idea, actually. All right, are you ready to really challenge yourself to put on, like everybody always picks like, hey, let's watch the Rob Zombie Halloween remake or watch something like that, and you think you're challenging yourself with that stuff. I like to think so. They gave me a hug when I came in the door, so that was a nice thing. As soon as I came to the door, I was kind of nervous because you got to do the interview type of thing, even though you've been there before. Basically, you got to do you technically have to do an interview. So I went in. I was like, okay, hopefully they still remember me and all this type of stuff. It's been a few months, and I got there, and my interviewer came out, and it's the person that trained me before there, and she gave me a big hug. I think that the first Rob Zombie film is watchable, but not good. I don't think he's good at writing characters like of that type. I think the second Rob Zombie film is one of the worst things I've ever seen put on celluloid. and like I can't. I've tried. So I know it's got its fans, and I'm definitely not one of them. But and I've tried many times to like to just to look at it in a different way and kind of get what people see. I just personally can't. I don't like anything about the second film. Uh, Three from Hell better. Yeah, come on. I'm hoping. Well, the way I see it, Three from Hell is a part of the Firefly family franchise. Honestly, yes, because I enjoyed Thanksgiving. Like as bad as things is, I felt there was a lot of heart put into things. I could feel the love put into things, but I couldn't into Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I really felt like he was making a movie just to stick it to certain people, specifically the company that he was making the movie for. Uh, I didn't feel there's a lot of love in there. But no, the Firefly franchise he's done well with. House of a Thousand Corpses was definitely a decent like start for him. Uh, I've never seen them, Jesse. I really haven't. But I know that he's really tried to push. He's even got a things like card game out there. Um, I kind of want to like stick in a world where Things 1989 is there. I think Anthony Michael Hall is a great choice for Tommy Doyle. I think he's a fantastic choice for the role. Anybody that has seen the series Dead Zone will understand just the intensity that that he that he can put into the role of Tommy Doyle. He definitely has that intensity there. I know that I heard that they spoke with Paul Rudd and he couldn't do it, like there's a scheduling thing. And some people thought that they should use the guy that played the kid in the first film. Uh, but I think that Anthony Michael Hall is the perfect choice. He has this innate like strength and intensity of character. Uh, like some people were coming along with things like, well, I can't believe that Anthony Michael Hall's doing it. He did all those like John Hughes movies. Seriously. I mean, seriously. It's like the people that came on Twitter and said, I can't believe they're doing a She-Hulk. Why are they doing a Guy Hulk? Slap. She-Hulk's been around since 1980. Think before you tweet. Just putting that out there. And Anthony Michael Hall's a great choice. He really is. You think that Zombie has a style, and and I got nothing against that. I just don't think it fits everything. It fits his films and it fits his type of films. I think Zombie style would fit amazingly in a Texas Chainsaw Massacre type of film or Hills of Ice type of film. TV show. She-Hulk is, from what I hear, is going to be a TV show, same as Moon Knight and same as Miss Marvel. So that'll be fun. They'll all be on the Disney streaming service. Who played Ben Tramer? You can't kill Ben Tramer this time. He wanted to do one. I think like there was rumors early on that that was that the first film with House of a Thousand Corpses was a partial spec script for like a TCM film. I can really see that actually. I don't think there's any director. I can't think of any director out there right now that could really put his heart more into a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film, the Rob Zombie. And I really think if they're going to keep going and doing these films, let him do one. He's earned it. Well, Texas Chainsaw not a remake. You just go on. They're keeping them going, so why not? I'll be honest, and let's be honest. We've all seen Leatherface, done by the team that did Inside, which is one of my favorite films, like of the French, Renaissance of horror, right? But yeah, totally not a. And his witch movie is way better. Lord Salem. Yeah. Hey there. All right, want a challenge for Halloween? This is one I dare you to watch during the 31 Days Horror. You think you got it with like the Halloween remake? No, here's a serious, and that is Psycho, the remake. This is the 19, I think was it 98? I think so. Yeah, 98 Psycho film. The Slumber Party Massacre sequels are actually the second one is I consider better than the first one, but in a cheesy kind of fun, like it's not a slasher film, some Nightmare on same type of way. This one here gets a lot of hate. It gets a ton of hate because Gus Van Sant decided to remake Psycho. Hey there. Now, one of my favorite peeps and somebody that Brian from Just to This and Pure Cinema podcast knows very well does a great audio commentary on here. I actually bought this originally for that. So Rob Galuzza is on here with, I think it's Amy, right? Yeah, Amy Duddleston, who was she's the editor. Yeah, she was editor of this film. It's I own it for, even if you're not a really big fan, the commentary is really good. Rob Galuzza, in case you guys don't know, works on like, he does a lot of Just for This podcast with Brian. Usually do like one a month usually now, sometimes a bit more. Well, he's probably the biggest Psycho fan that I've ever heard of, and he actually made really yeah, I actually made the documentary The Psycho Legacy, which is fantastic. If you don't own it, definitely pick it up. But see, a lot of people are hating on it. They say it's pointless. There's a weird scene in this that comes out of nowhere during Abergast's death. Like I'm not like it's not like any shocker there. Abergast dies again. In this one here, there's a sequence where just randomly there's like a road and there's like, I'm not sure it's a sheep or some kind of weird artsy sequence that it's just randomly put in there. The other sequence that is put in there is Norman Bates when he's watching Marion Crane in the shower. It's not just watching her. Definitely worth the rewatch to check out something to see, something different. People always say, "Oh, I'm going to watch The Thing. I'm going to watch The Fly." Good movies, really great movies. I think of Psycho, the remake, like kind of like it is, yeah, actually. But Bloch's novel is really, really different. The character of Norman Bates is extremely different in Bloch's novel. He's a chubbier character. He wears these glasses. Much more of a repulsive character, not as likable in the Bloch novel. To be honest with you, like a lot of likability and stuff that was put in that came through in the in his yeah, basically it comes across from Anthony Perkins' character and the way that he plays him. I don't think that like if you would have got like, I don't know, someone in the 80s, something like maybe what's his name, Stephen First or something like that, who kind of like would physically fit, that type of role. I don't think it would have franchised as well. It's just it was so different, so unique. But definitely worth checking out. You're always checking out the other sequels and all the remakes and stuff like that. And if you really want to challenge yourself, double feature it with the remake of April Fool's Day. I dare you. Psycho sequels are really fun. Hold on a second. All right, I apologize. My better half just got picked up. She was waiting in the in 4 hours from civilization in a broken down car, and a very, very good friend just picked her up. So thank you, Betty. I know she doesn't watch this, but thank you anyway. I'm just trying to give some different ones here. 13 Wolf fans, some unique stuff. Yeah, April Fool's Day. You guys see the sequel to April Fool's Day? If you're a fan of like Halloween, Rob Zombie's Halloween, it has Scout Taylor Compton in it, who I do like. She's okay. She's a bit shaken up. I mean, like the car, it broke. Well, I'm not talking about it stopped. Like I think the axle or something broke on the car. So, needless to say, that was a bit scary, and the fact that she was out in the middle of nowhere. Thankfully, her phone was in a section where they had like reception, because that highway doesn't have a lot of reception, and with zero money. So, yeah. Anyway, next up is Hell Night, and some of you actually may use this one, and I applaud anybody that uses Hell Night. I do think that this is a great choice. If you're picking one slasher and you want to do something kind of cool and kind of different, I definitely recommend checking out Hell Night. It's a fun film. It goes in. It takes a lot of like the tropes that you normally associate with slasher films, and it goes in a different direction with them. There's a sequence. Basically a whole like kind of a subplot where where usually you got the character that says he's going to go away and get some help, and then immediately he goes and he'll get killed, right? Like he'll get killed or something will happen. Like he'll pretty much be killed right away. There's no way he's going to get to the road. There's no way he's going to get to the police station. Any of that type of stuff. They take it in a different way with this one, and I really, really like that aspect of this film. It's really well done. It's extremely well shot. This edition of it is definitely the edition to get. They pretty much got everybody that worked on the film, that acted in this film. They interviewed everybody. They did like these group interviews, usually with 2 people each. They were a ton of fun. This is a great release. The movie itself is fantastic. It's a wonderful slasher film. It's highly underrated. The parts of Matthew Starr. Yeah, that's right. That's before he went on the soap operas, right? Because Peter Barton actually did a soap opera for a while too. I still got to watch Hellhouse LLC. Those films. I know that Rebecca McKendry always recommends those. But Hell Night, make sure you check this out. This is a really great release. If you don't have the Scream Factory release in your collection already, I'm not sure if anybody doesn't have this one yet. If you don't have it, this is what I'm going to call like my diamond, my diamond pick. This is one that does need to be in absolutely every horror fan's collection. Art the Clown. I like the actor. Actually, 13th Wolfman right there. He just interviewed. What's it, David Horton? David Horton. He's got 3 names. The guy that played Art the Clown. And I'm going to be honest with you. Terrifier was not one of my favorite films. Art the Clown, however, was severely one of my favorite characters. David Howard Thornton, thank you. You should know it. He just interviewed him. By the way, check that interview that 13 Wolfman did with David Howard Thornton. It's really good. I really like David Howard Thornton. I think he's a great actor, and I was not a huge fan of Terrifier, the film itself, because there were certain aspects of it, not too brutal actually. It was just, or not too comedic. There wasn't a lot there. I think that the movie, for me personally, now I get a lot of people love it. hinged on Art the Clown. Without Art, like anything anybody else in that film, I think that would have totally not worked. Um, there wasn't a lot of plot there. It Some of the acting may not have been like the best, and some people say, the acting may not be great, but it's a horror film. Well, don't do that. Don't don't say the acting is not great. Don't like denigrate a horror film to say the acting doesn't have to be good because it's a horror film. It's still it's just as good as any other type of film, whether it be comedy. Nobody says like, well, I would have loved that dramatic film, but the acting was pretty good for a drama film. But no, I really do think that Art the Clown was amazing. That he did a great job, and I actually want to see the sequel to it because of him. Uh, it was a weird film. I wanted to like it so much because I do like that type of film, and he was so good. I mean, I couldn't keep my eyes off of him when he was on the film. There's a thing that actors do. Uh, physical. There's a physicality that certain actors have, and he really, really has it. Um, it's rare, and you can kind of teach it, but it's kind of something that you got to have the innate ability to draw from, and he has it. Robert Englund has that. Uh, the He's got that when he plays Freddy, and he does like kind of like the slouch type of like, and the aspects, the way that he plays the character of Freddy Krueger. Kane Hodder has a physicality that he uses for the role of Jason Voorhees, and Kane Hodder is memorable in the role, and he played in some of the worst like Friday the 13th films, but he's still amazingly memorable. Uh, I did. All Hallows Eve. There's two of them actually. There's All Hallows Eve. The first one has Art the Clown. Uh, the second one, I don't know. So I didn't see it yet. It has a pumpkin head or something like that on it. I'm not sure if that's a different character, but aspects of it I liked. Um, it was, again, the All Hallows Eve wasn't a great movie. It's an anthology film, Logan. There is a sequence in the film that I find extremely creepy, and um, maybe it's just me, but that sequence, there's a sequence, and if you've seen it, Zombies, I know you've probably seen it. Uh, if it ended right there, I would be okay. That's kind of cool, but it goes on. It keeps going for a little bit longer, just to do a little bit more. He's hung up on the gore to the point that oh, that was bad. That alien sequence. That should not have been put in there. It was horrible. It seems like that director is totally hung up on the gore aspect of it, and I think if he let it go a bit and go a bit more into actually like writing a good script, I'd like it a lot better. That's just me personally, though. You're a gore hound, gonna love it. Well, not love it, because still, it does have that alien sequence, and that is a pretty crappy sequence. But unlike a regular anthology, uh, like when you're watching an Amicus film and you got the wraparound, there's usually like three little like there's usually like a wraparound with like 3 to 4, sometimes 5 stories there. In All Hallows Eve, there's a wraparound which is the only story, and then there's 3 what I wouldn't call stories, but maybe experiences that are happening to people, as opposed to an actual story. Well, there's an overuse. See, I gotta disagree. I don't think that the 80s or 90s, whatever version of it is bad at all, actually. Um, but you can't really compare it to a multi-million dollar big budgeted like theatrical film. But I'll go and I will go like one step farther, and I will kind of I will say this to you right now. It is not his magnum opus. It is a problematic book. It's got a great first half when you're looking into the younger characters, and you're looking into like Pennywise and like the kind of playing on childhood fears. It works extremely well. When you get to the second half of the book, it tends to drag, and when you get to the part where it is a spider and a turtle, then you're like, what the hell, Stephen King? Um, it's an overrated book, in my opinion. In my opinion, I hate to call things overrated, but it because I think that's the epitome of like ego when you do something like that. But I do have a bit of an ego, so we'll go with that. But I did like the original It because it had a lot of actually good actors in it. Harry Anderson was in it, John Ritter, Richard Thomas, who of course who was was John By in the Waltons. So you can't say they didn't have a good cast for the original It film, and even for the kids they had a fairly decent cast as well. And the bully sequence in the miniseries makes a lot more sense and works better than the bully sequence in the newer one, where they're not even just bullies anymore. They're just out and out psychopaths. That there's no like and there's a couple sequences that I like both of them. They both work. I did not think I was going to like the remake, and I do consider it a remake. I know some people are like, oh my God, it's not a remake. It came from the same source. For me, that's a remake. Um, but uh, but no, I think that Bill Skarsgård did a great job in the role of Pennywise. I think they casted the kids extremely well in the new It. But I don't think that having a new one has to take away from the old one. You can still enjoy the old one, and it's a clown, and a lot of it, especially to a younger audience, a lot of what Tim Curry does is not going to seem scary. It's not going to look scary. Uh, so the only thing I can say is take it back, take it from, try to bring yourself back to the time that it was done, and take it from there. Everybody's going to have a favorite. But saying that, 13 Wolfman, isn't this, you know, whether you want to call it the TV show, it's a miniseries, right? So what are these films? Think about it. This is still a miniseries. We're still getting miniseries as we're just having them put into theaters now. Whenever they break a film up into two parts or three parts, they're taking that film and making it into a miniseries. The same as like they did on TV back in the day. People don't really like to think of that because then it equates TV and and like and film. And some people don't like to equate TV with film. Like they think of it as like as a lessening of it, and I don't actually. I think there's some amazing stuff that comes on television. So yeah, it's a higher budget miniseries, and it's in the theaters, but it's still a miniseries, nonetheless. But to each their own. And I love debating, so just so you know, that's always a pleasant part of my day. I picked The Blob with Shawnee Smith because I really like Shawnee Smith. I really think this is a really great remake. I showed you the Psycho remake. It may not be one of the best remakes out there, so I wanted to kind of redeem myself with. Yes, I would. I would legitimately consider the Avengers one. Like the Avengers things almost like if you take the ones that put, it's almost like a maxi series, like one of the bigger long, one of those big long ongoing series. And you get those too, like those maxi series. the end of the day. You still get them. But now they give them a season and they call them American Horror Story. But it's still basically that's what it is. It's a maxi series. But yeah, but those two films together, definitely I would consider them more of a miniseries. Is it because it is focused on that same genesis, right? If they were two completely different stories, and they just happen to have some of the same characters, no. But it's basically a continuation of the same story. If it's the same story, then I'm going to consider it a miniseries. Maxi series goes over like five films. There we go. The Blob is a fantastic one. This one is being put out again by the guys at Scream Factory. Kevin Dillon is amazing in this film. This is if it's just like James Bond. You think of a James Bond, kind of, I guess. I mean, but James Bond, like, they don't really have a lot, like, aside from the Blofeld ones, don't really continue like a whole like plot line. There's definitely a definitive like narrow like overarching arc for this. But the Blob, again, one of my favorites. Want to put that one in there. Next up is one I think Logan is actually gonna like. I've heard a lot of great stuff at Scream Disc, and hopefully by then I'll be doing good and I'll be able to upgrade. Count Yorga Vampire, really cool. Doesn't get a lot of love, and it really should. This helped to change vampire films, for good or for bad. It changed vampire films. The success of AIP's Count Yorga film, true, the Craig ones actually did. Unfortunately, they were Quantum of Solace level, but later on they got better. This one, I have the sequel as well, put it by Scream Factory. And if you were in the UK, you could get both of them under the same label, Arrow Video, put them both out. Thanks. But I really do love the cover on this one here. I think they did a brilliant job. It stars Robert Quarry, and incredible film. This changed the way that Hammer did their vampire films. They modernized their vampire films as kind of a direct, like the Yoga came out, direct 8072 came out. Satanic Rites directly came out. Everybody kind of dug 8072. And then there were Satanic Rites. Robert Quarry hated doing a lot of films. Vincent Price did not get along with him, apparently. I heard that he was not a huge fan of Robert Quarry. I'm not quite sure why, but when they did a film together, it might have been like Scream and Scream Again or something like that. And Vincent Price was like was not impressed. Dr. Fives, that's it then. Thanks, Kathy. I couldn't remember which movie they did together. Abominable. NVD Rewind. I wanted to get this group in here. I think this is a highly underrated film. It has Tiffany Shepis, guys. Oh, Tiffany Shepis. You gotta love Tiffany Shepis. If you don't love Tiffany Shepis, you have to learn to love the Shepis. She's fantastic. This is actually a really cool film. It's got a lot of cool actors. We got Dee Wallace in this one here, 13 Wolfman. And we have Matt McCoy, Tiffany Shepis, Phil Morris is in this one, Lance Henriksen, Paul Gleason, Jeffrey Combs. Really, really cool stuff. I did actually kind of mention this one on the Just to This that we did. But so if anybody hasn't listened to the Just to This yet, make sure you do, because we did talk about NVD Rewind. Dude, 13 Wolfman, if you ever interview Tiffany Shepis, you 110% have to tell her, one, I'm a huge fan, and two, let her know what my channel is. I'm just putting that out there now. Got to make those connections. Abominable is a fantastic film. If you haven't checked it out yet, definitely check this one out. Some people will like hem and haw because, oh, it's a monster film, it's a Bigfoot film. It's actually really fun. Rear Window meets Bigfoot, and it works. It really, really works in ways that would surprise you, with a killer ending that I didn't really see coming, but I really loved it. Next up is a good old Vincent one. because you know I got to get my Vinegar Syndrome in here. I too love the ending there, and that is Prey. Norma J. Warren. A lot of people picked up this box set from Indicator, one that I do hope to get down the road. This is the movie Prey. For me, it is probably one of the best movies on that set. Really well done, really unique, kind of like a sci-fi horror film with a bit of with some psychological mixings thrown in there. Way, way way better than you expect to get from this type of film. And even from if you're kind of familiar with Norma J. Warren, this truly is one of the greats that Norma J. Warren did, and it is so underrated. But this is such a good release. I'm actually really proud that I was able to grab the slipcover edition of Prey. It is a fantastic film. This one and Bloody New Year are two of the tops for me with the Norma J. Warren stuff. Terror is great as well, but Prey, just fantastic, just fun. I had to go with one other Vinegar Syndrome one here because I'm hoping this one is going to become like a Halloween staple for some people because it has for me in the last few years. Although I'm not doing it this year, I'll probably watch it during Halloween. I just won't be talking about it. And that is Demon Wind. Love this lenticular cover. This took forever to sell out, by the way. And it's such a shame. It is such a weird, unique, different film. It is kind of a low-budget Evil Dead with a quirky little cast, some really cool sequences. There's even like an adult film actress that plays a kind of a cool part in here. Like I always mention when I talk about this film, you have a magician that knows Kung Fu in one of the most bizarre entrances to for any character in a film ever, and it works so well. It is just so fun. It is so cheesy. It is so great, and I had to put this here as a really kind of cool. It is bizarre. It is fun though. It is like super fun. Next up is a release from Deodato, and this one, as far as I know, has only gotten a release from Shameless. So my next two talks are going to be about Shameless, and that is The Washing Machine. People underrate this one. They tend not to check it out. It's a giallo, but it is very different. It runs in kind of a there's almost like a supernatural psychic aspect to this giallo that's kind of a throwback to Smart. Now this one is, just so you know, Brian, just so you know, dude, not in front of the kids, not in front of the kid. Just there's heavy, like it's not like Sister Ursula like level of sexuality, but there is some like heavy sexuality and nudity in the film. Not that I think that's ever going to hurt a child, like well, a kid watch, but if you're watching like horrors, but still, just to let you know, there is like a bunch of, and this is a great release. This is still one of my favorite releases. It is such a simple concept. You basically steal one, you make this kind of like cool little washing machine sequence. I cannot show you the back because the nudity, it's on the back, just saying. And I did want to put in a Blu-ray from Shameless, and I wanted to put in one of their best and one of the Argento films that we don't talk about enough, and that is this one right here, Four Flies on Grey Velvet. Classic Argento film, does not get enough credit. Don't you just love this cover? Just like really like let this cover sink in for a minute. At first, first glance, then this cover is kind of you just see an eye, and then you look at the flies, like how well the flies are, and then you look at the reflection, like what's actually like showing in basically in the iris right there, and you realize how brilliantly beautiful the artwork is on this film. Oh, dude, you so got to watch Four Flies. Make it for Halloween. Not Halloween night, but like one of the 31 days of October. Mimsy Farmer, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Mimsy Farmer, Michael Brandon really kill it in this film. It is, show the alt side. Should I show the alt side? All right. Guys, there is an outside. There is an outside here. That is the alternate artwork for Four Flies in Grey Velvet. So it's different, unique. I prefer this, but great little release, and it does have like a an interview with the writer and assistant director of the film, Lucio Cosi, who does a really, if you've never seen the movie, there's a movie that he did for Arrow, Contamination. Check that out. He's got an hour-long interview on there. It's fantastic. We get restored print with the prior missing footage on here, newly remastered audio. Just really cool stuff. Definitely check it out, guys. Next up, because I could not have some Kino on here, I could not have some Pete Walker on here. What was I going to choose? There were so many different to choose from. I went with Schizo. And Schizo is a really good little film. The title does give away a bit of the twist within the film itself, but it's definitely an underrated, hey Corey, Peter Walker film. Peter Walker film, I recommend it. I missed something there and I missed it. It is an odd reference to the film. It almost gives a bit too much away though, doesn't it? But definitely check out Schizo. It's under the Redemption label that Kino has. By the way, anybody that is in North America, well, especially if you're in Canada, or if you ever buy from Amazon.ca, I gotta let you know right now, in case you're not on my Twitter, basically, Amazon just dropped all the new Kino October releases, and I think the September ones as well, by 25%. So they're all around $29 Canadian, by the way, and they all dropped down to 22, which I think is a great price. So I pre-ordered a few of those, and the ones I pre-ordered, still not sure if I'll get them all, but Trilogy of Terror 2, which, by the way, now they've added a Lizette Anthony interview to the Trilogy of Terror 2, which makes it a must-have. Parasite 3D. That's true. Umberto Lenzi's Nightmare Beach. John Hoff's Nightmare at Badham County. And John Huston's Phobia. So those are the ones I went with. Anyways, Schizo, fantastic little film. If you can get the Pete Walker collection, get the Pete Walker collection, because it is oh so very good. All right, I put one in here. I wanted to do kind of a different one, kind of a vampire one, science fiction one. I'm trying, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm trying to put in some different stuff, some not normally picked stuff. I agree. Planet of the Vampires, Mary Bava. Kathy, you said you want to do some Mary Bava. I want to give you a different Mary Bava than, like, say, some of the normal stuff that's out there that people normally pick. When people think of Bava, they'll think, Blood and Black Lace, they'll think of Black Sabbath, Black Sunday. Not a lot of people go with or think about Planet of the Vampires, but it is an extremely well done, very stylistic film, very well shot, very colorful, kind of a gorgeous film. Their suits remind me of the X-Men from the Bryan Singer X-Men films. They kind of have the kind of feel to them. Great little film. This hasn't been released in the UK yet. Let's see. Unfortunately, this is like a Region A. If you got it like a Region Free player, definitely pick it up, because this is a really good print of the film. Got a great Tim Lucas commentary on there, and of course, Trailers from Hell with Joe Dante. Kind of gotta expect that. The movie's in your collection. There you go. So this is the one to get. It's a really good film. Definitely recommend it. All right, now we're going with a Scorpion releasing one. Oh yeah, you definitely can see where a certain future filmmaker took his inspiration from. Big time. And this is Blind Date, which I mentioned on, if you have not watched my Brian's episode of the Just to This podcast, where he actually was nice enough to let me to guest on it, I mentioned this film right here. This is Nico Mastriakis' film, Blind Date. And if you are kind of wondering where you know the name Nico Mastriakis from, it's from a few things actually. More than likely you saw the movies, either maybe Zero Boys, or you've watched what's it, On of Terror, where he was done in obviously it was a Greek film with that infamous sheep scene. This one, yes you do. You definitely need this one. A really cool film. It stars Joseph Bottoms, who probably was best known in the late '80s and early '90s for playing a role on Santa Barbara, playing like a real cool psychopath. Just was awesome because every time he would like come on the show, he'd be killed off. And every time he'd come back, he'd have like a body part missing from his last time he was killed off. But he does a great job in this one. This is a really kind of quirky, like obsession style film. There's a bit of science fiction in this one. And look at the cast. I mean, you got like Joseph Bottoms, Kirstie Alley, Marina Sirtis, Keir Dullea. Now, Marina Sirtis has like a smaller role in this film. She plays like a lady of the evening, we'll say. And Kirstie Alley actually has a pretty big role in it. You want to see like Kirstie Alley like at the height of like her sexy Kirstie Alley-ness and nude sequences? This is a film to see. Because yes, that's in there. And so is like Marina Sirtis actually. So you can see like some sequences there in the back. Basically, it is a psychological sci-fi like obsession film. There is a serial killer that's going around killing these ladies, and they all have a certain like type of look to them. When Joseph Bottoms was a kind of like a high-powered, like he's in advertising, kind of like guys into like modeling and that, and he sees this girl from his past, and he kind of starts to follow her, starts to stalk her a bit, because he wants to know that her life is going on. You'll find out. I don't want to give it too much away. But basically, he ends up going blind. And the way that he sees things after he gets a certain type of operation done, just check it out. Go and enjoy the pun here. Go in blind when you watch Blind Date. Hey, Miss Sung, and 31 Alternate Days of Horror. Definitely check this out. It was a recent release from Scorpion Releasing. What's really good about this, if you are a fan of Nico Mastrakis, or you want to find out who Nico is and the films that he did, there is a fantastic interview on here with him, and it goes over like a ton of, it's just as on back, just as feature on Nico Mastrakis, and that does not do it justice. It goes over a ton of his earlier works. And it goes through a lot of his early films. And it seems like it's part 1 of 2. So I'm hoping that Scorpion is putting out another Nico Mastrakis film that's going to have the second part of that featurette. And it's a long featurette. It's like 45 minutes or so in length, if I remember correctly. Really, really well done. Really good. So I grabbed another Scorpion release, and one that I actually really enjoyed. I used to have this one on VHS. It is a very quirky, very different, very weird film. With a great cast. I'm going to read the cast before I tell you what the film is. I want to see if you guys can tell me. I want to see who knows this film. This one, by the way, Brian, this one almost made it onto the list when we were doing the podcast. So we got, in this movie here, we have Avery Schreiber, Cameron Mitchell, you've got Barbara Steele, and you have Yvonne De Carlos as in the cast. And I will also say that this movie was made twice, and half the people that I'm mentioning were not in the original film. And that is Silent Scream. Silent Scream is an early 80s, I think 1980 probably, film that was very problematic. It was shot with an almost completely different cast, with a very different storyline. That didn't work out, so they went in and they reshot a lot of it with new cast, and I think a new killer as well in the films. But it is a cool little film, definitely differently done, and it has some great featurettes on here that you're really going to want to dive into. Because when you watch the film, you feel like it's interesting, but there's something just a little off, kind of just a little bit off kilter. To quote a song, it's kind of left of center off of the stream. Definitely want to check out. Cameron Mitchell plays comes in. He's not the main cast member in this one, but I did really enjoy this film. Silent Scream is a really fun one. I'm a huge fan of Barbara Steele. I think she does a great job in here, and basically in a role where she is almost like speechless, really. And it's good to see Avery Schreiber and Cameron Mitchell. They play off each other well as the two police officers in the film. The youthful cast does actually a pretty good job for what they had to do. But what's even more fascinating about this film is once you watch it and you start watching like the genesis of Silent Scream and finding out about exactly what went on behind the scenes and all the chicanery that happens in this film. It is fascinating for that too. You almost want to see a whole documentary on that, but they do really talk about it, and they really get to talk about, like, I think it's the Wheat Brothers, right? That did this one. Yeah, it's the Wheat Brothers. So the Wheat Brothers get to talk about that as well. So Kathy, you got like Karen Mitchell and Barbara Steele together. You got to check it out. Silent Scream, guys. Have you checked this one out, Brian, yet? Are you still there, Brian? If you haven't, definitely check it out. I wanted to grab a kind of a one that I thought was kind of cool. This is a Canadian edition of this film. Hey, Kubrick lover. 31 alternate days of Halloween is what we're doing right now. And I thought that you guys would enjoy this, and I thought you'd enjoy seeing the Canadian edition of the film. This is by a group of guys that are no longer together, Astron 6. They did some amazing stuff, and this is the editor. This is my favorite version of the editor. There was a Scream Factory, I think, edition of the editor that came out, but it did not have this gorgeous cover. Exactly. Third Wolfman, you got Silent Scream, right? Yeah, there's a sequence in Silent Scream where they're watching TV. They're watching a horror movie on TV, and it's a part of the original film. Definitely worth seeing. It's really worth checking out. It's a fascinating curio. So this is the editor. It is pretty much a kind of like a satire, a horror satire, basically, on the giallo genre. Now it's a fun movie to watch. You'll get a lot more to this if you've watched a lot of giallo first, because there are so many references taken from sometimes popular and sometimes not so popular giallo films. This is the Canadian version. You can see it as the alternate artwork. The original artwork on the editor that the Canadian version uses this one here that a lot of people are familiar with, but this one here really has a giallo aspect to it. But definitely check this out. Really good film, especially if you're a hardcore giallo fan. This needs to be in your collection. Speaking of giallo, it was fun. I mean, I'll be honest with you, Third Wolfman, Editor is one of those movies where they throw things to see what sticks. Not everything works, but overall, I think as a film, it works pretty well. Not everything works in the film, but enough of it works to say that it's definitely something that you got to have in your collection as a giallo fan. All right, speaking of giallo and slasher, what happens when you take a slasher movie and you take a giallo film and you mix them together, kind of like peanut butter and chocolate? You get this amazing exploitation film, Curtains. Yes, Curtains is a fantastic film. So, let's say you watch Black Christmas, the 1974 Black Christmas, and you're looking at it, and you see the first girl that's killed, and you're thinking, man, she's kind of cool. I'd like to see a movie where she does a lot more. Well, then you need to see Curtains, because the girl that gets killed first in Black Christmas, the one that you see in the rocking chair for most of the film, she has a very big important part within this film here. Curtains is a really fun film. If you haven't seen it, Synapse did a great job in with their Curtains restoration. It's a fantastic little film. There's a ton of little features on here as well. Actually amazing features. And Italian for yellow right on. Just a fun one. And this here mask, by the way, is super creepy, and definitely one that, if you like Black Christmas, Kathy, you gotta check out Curtains. It's a really fun little film. Sony did this one, and I expect more horror release from Sony, and hopefully we're going to get more down the road. They've put out a couple other horror, but not in the same vein as this one, though. And that is 976 Evil. I love this one. It's a lot of fun. Not perfect, just a cheesy little supernatural film to watch, kind of a light one to watch on an afternoon. It's a fun, cool blue. It's fun. It stars Stephen Jeffries, who of course was Evil Ed in the original Fright Night film, Fright Night, and of course also acted with Amanda Beers in the highly underrated sexploitation movie Fraternity Vacation, which actually is really, really good. There's a line in it that I can't say on here, but it's a cool line. It's one that you'll use, hopefully not in real life, but you'll say it to somebody when you're watching it, and they'll kind of chuckle. But 976 Evil is a really fun little film. There's actually a couple different cool actors. Sandy Dennis is in this one here as well. Yeah, because she plays Aunt Lucy, right? Yeah, she does. Yeah. But definitely check out 976 Evil. It's fun. It's cheesy. For people that don't like spotters, there is a spotters sequence in this one here that did make me cringe a bit, but it was worth the watch. It was fun, and I like him. The sequel is actually pretty fun as well. I've only ever seen the sequel on I got a DVD 8-pack that has 9762 on it, which I really have to dive into again. It's been a long time since I've seen it. Hold on here. So to respond to, yeah. All right. Next up is Kiss of the Vampire, a fantastic little film from Hammer Films. Again, I'm really trying to go for films that I think are underrated or aren't getting enough love. And Kiss of the Vampire is one of those. I did a whole segment on Hammer, so I don't really need to get into this one too strongly, but it is a really good film. This release here actually has a commentary on it, which is not available on any other release of the film. So I got the 8-pack, the Blu-ray 8-pack of it, which has has all the films on it, which is where I recommend people start with Hammer. If you want to get the commentary down the road, this is the final cut edition of the film, and it does have a commentary on here. Love this film. Blue Underground's The Toolbox Murders. Barbara Steele. No Hammer that I can think of. Was Barbara Steele in any Hammer films? I can't really think of her being in any. You can probably see the strings on. I'm trying to remember. Probably there's a big bat sequence in the. There's a really good bat sequence in that film, which I can't really talk about without giving away the end of the film. To be honest with you, but Kiss of the Vampire is a more. It has some more adult sequences to it. I don't mean in a porny type of way. I just mean that it's more that it definitely the script. I admired the script and some of the different ways they took Kiss the Vampire, and I can be picky when it comes to scripts, but Kiss the Vampire really worked for me. Toolbox Murders. Love this movie. This one is based on a true story. Cameron Mitchell, Kathy, you get your Cameron Mitchell fix here. You're gonna get a lot of Cameron Mitchell in this one. He's really good in this movie. Wesley Uri, who was one of the guys that played. Hold on a second. Mike Horton on Days of Our Lives, actually, and of course so did the guy from Pretender as well. It's hard to picture Wesley Uri and then him as being the same character, but they were. Really great film, highly underrated, in my opinion. I really hope that this gets a cool lenticular version of the with the case and the 3 discs and the soundtrack and all the cool little bonus featurettes and stuff. I want this to be one of the ones that Blue Underground does. I really do. I really enjoyed this film. I watched this with my oldest. Me and her watched it and we were really into it. Oh, Wesley Uri? Is he really? I don't know. I don't think so. It's been a long time since I've seen Hedwig, to be honest with you. So I really don't. I really don't remember. Nice. Fiend. Yes, you got to have some Don Doler during Halloween. You know you got to have at least one. Oh no, Cameron Mitchell. Cameron Mitchell was in in Toolbox Murders. Because you need some Don Doler, at least one Don Doler for Halloween. You know, you can go with Night Beast, which the Vinegar Syndrome recent release, or you could go with Massacre Video's Fiend, which is really fun and kind of different and unique, and it has some acting choices. Night Beast is fantastic. But the thing is, everybody knows Night Beast. It's known Night Beast from the recent Vinegar Syndrome one. So I want to give love to probably a lesser known Don Doler film. And that is this one right here. This actually has another film hidden on it. So find that when you get it. There's a second Doler film on here. It is a really different, really unique film. And I really enjoyed this one. It was a blast. It was a laugh. All right. I'm going to give you some Severin goodness. One that I think is going to make its way in rotation for a lot of people now that it's out there. And that is the excellent film Skinner, starring Ted Raimi, Ricky Lake, and Tracy Lords. This one, The Neighbor. Actually, I agree. This one is a fantastic little film. It flew under the radar of everybody for so long. And Severin came out, they rescued it, they did an amazing job with this film. The features on this one are incredible. It's one of those where I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna tell you right now that this belongs in your collection. This definitely one of the ones that gets one of my highest recommendations. It's one of those where they could have went like, remember earlier on we were talking about movies like Terrifier and All Hallows Eve, and we talked about the fact that that filmmakers can kind of lean into the gore. You got to get it, Jesse. Kind of lean into the gore, but they lean into the gore like you can lean into the gore, and then you can do the gore where you just rely on the gore, right? Skinner could have easily just relied heavily on the gore. Or they could have taken the gore out altogether. They could have went, they could have easily gone one way or the other, and they get that nice mixture, perfectness, where definitely this is one to have, guys. This is definitely one to have, and it is a beautiful, beautiful. So there's Tracy Lords, there's Ted Raimi. I bought this for the October package last year. Well, my better half bought it for me, and as a Christmas gift, and was a surprise. I want to give you one that you can watch with the whole family, and one that you can maybe sit down and watch. Say you got kids or a teen. Exactly. Some people do that. Skinner doesn't do that. Kubrick lover. Skinner doesn't use gore as a plot device to make up for a shallow story. Skinner actually has a decent story. It's got some cool characters and some decent writing in it as well. So it doesn't rely on gore in the way that that films like a Terrifier or All Hallows Eve have done. There's nothing wrong with those type films. It's just that sometimes that can come across as a little bit lazy. You won't find that in Skinner. I wanted one for the whole family, and I chose The Gate for being that kind of cool family film. I could have chose Monster Squad. I could have chose a Mr. Boogedy, but The Gate is such a good film. It is so well done, and it definitely is a film that works really well for a preteen audience. And it works for everybody. It's a great film. It's going to work anyway, but you're going to get more scares out of it when you're younger. It hits on all the fears of youth. It really does, and it does it well. It does it in a way that I think is extremely well done. Is extremely respectful, and it's just a great film. If you've never seen The Gate, check it out. And it is ready for the stat joke? It is a gateway drug to horror for a lot of young people. Definitely check it out. If your child has not seen The Gate, make sure they see it this Halloween. All right, we went with one. We went with two Code Red releases to end this off, and it's a perfect time to see it. Levins. It's like when you're a kid, because you get the thing, you got the the death of of a beloved animal, the death of a parent, like isolation, alienation from from friends, like how you act with the sibling. There's just so much in there. So two Code Reds will end off this video, and one is Sweet 16. Again, a highly underrated slasher film with a great little twist and actually a decent mystery to it. Really enjoy this one. There is an kind of an indigenous subplot to this here, and being Native Canadian, which I am, I actually do really like the fact that that was included in there. Actually, I haven't Cubic Lover, but I will now because that is a perfectly wonderful idea, which I will totally steal from you since you just gave it to me. I don't think it features a kiss sign. That's as far as I remember. But this is a great film. And if you're a fan of like Friday the 13th Part 3, well, Dana Kimmel, who starred in Friday the 13th Part 3, is in this film here. No, you are still not going to see her nude. She still doesn't do a nude scene here. Dana Kimmel is, well, I think she's highly Christian, so she doesn't do like nude sequences. But there is a girl in here that that does do the nude scenes, and she's pretty hot. So if that's something that you need, then you're going to get that in there as well. And last but not least is one that is definitely not for everybody, but I could not put in my man, Mr. David Hess, and what I consider to be his best one. A lot of people would say, well, a lot of people are expecting me to pick up Last House on the Left. No, I really don't think Last House on the Left is his best work. I think this is. And I went between this, like Hitchhike's good too, but House on the Edge of the Park. There's definitely a bit of a brutal film, not one to watch like or the cage. So if you got your in-laws over, don't put on House on the Edge of the Park. It's going to be an awkward viewing experience if you do. But it is a really, really well done film. Like the way this is done. Trivia fact that David Hess didn't like to talk about a lot, but there is a rape sequence at the beginning of the film in a car or a cab or something like that. And the person that David Hess is attacking is actually his future wife. And the love of his life for the rest of his life. So basically, she's got like a small part in this film. He really got upset when interviewers would actually mention that, by the way. House on the Edge of the Park is really well done. It's extremely well acted. It's got some nice little twists in it, but there is definitely some serious brutality in there, so know that going in. I agree. I mean, like, me and you, 13 Wolfmen Against the World on this one, but I do think this is best role, and I think this is so much better than Last House on the Left. There's no horrible soundtrack in this one. There's no weird police officers in this one. It just is. So this is like, this is Home Invasion. This is like an early Home Invasion one. Well, Swamp Thing. Well, Swamp Thing, Swamp Thing is a good film, but it's not really a David Hess film. This is a David Hess film. It is 110% a David Hess film. And but not just him. There's a great cast in this one. Giovanni Lombardo Radice is in this one, and he is incredible. I think he's interviewed on here as well. And if you don't have it, I do recommend it. It's really good. If you like home invasion films, if you don't mind like kind of like the more brutal films, David Hess style films, this is Last House on the Left done right for me. It doesn't have the same plot. Don't even think that. But David Hess is playing a similar like skeevy type of scum of the earth type character, as was just mentioned there. That's kind of what David Hess like excelled at. He excelled in that type of role. Like, yeah, I really enjoy Last House on the Left, but House on the Edge of the Park just was awesome. Just for me. Like the remake of Last House on the Left better than the original? I'd have to rewatch it, but I think I did too, actually. And which really bothered me, because I didn't mind the film. Oh no, the Clockwork Orange is perfectly in topic with House on the Edge of the Park or Last House on the Left. Like 100%. And also a great choice for Halloween, by the way. But there we go, guys. We got through it at 90 minutes, around the length, the sweet spot of one of those perfect little slasher films, those fun little slasher films. We did 31 alternate days. Oh, you want a recap of all the films, real quickly? Let's do it. The acting was iffy in some parts of the original. That's not saying anything against them, but that's true. So we'll go through it again really quickly. That is House on the Edge of the Park, Sweet 16, The Gate. Yeah, you want to make Clockwork Orange one of your date movies. You could, but that's an odd date. Skinner. Next time I'm on, let me tell you about my worst date movie ever. Fiend. Toolbox Murders. Kiss the Vampire. 976 Evil. Curtains. The Editor. Silent Scream. Blind Date. Mara Bava's Planet of the Vampires. Pete Walker's Schizo. That's because John Steele's got some serious class. Four Flies in Grey Velvet. Deodato's The Washing Machine. Demon Wind. Norman J. Warren's Prey. Abominable. Count Yorga, Vampire. The Blob remake. Hell Night. The Psycho remake. I dare you. House of Drip Blood. Summer Party Massacre. 1 to 3. Watch them all in one sitting. Nail Gun Massacre. Uli Lamos, The Boogeyman. The Fan. And last but not least, Sorority Babes in the Slimeball Bolorama. There you go, guys. 31 alternate days of Halloween horror fun. Hopefully you enjoyed this. I wanted to do something different. I wanted to give you something kind of unique. I wanted to do kind of a list video, but kind of like a little bit meatier one. Oh, dude. You missed the first two then. That's okay. The recap's always good for people that came in later on. It's a cool film. It was originally called The Imp. It's a really fun film. But anyway, guys, I haven't had any tea today, and it's been a long, rough day. So I will see you again. Aaron, thank you for watching. You are the Movie Club. You guys are awesome. And I got a phone call coming in from Better Half, so wish me luck.